Welcome to the 2026 World Baseball Classic on FS1, presented by Capital One. Back in Miami, Florida, Lone Depot Park for the second of our semifinal. One of these countries is going to make it to the championship game for the first time. Will it be Venezuela, or will it be Team Italy to take on the United States in the final tomorrow night? We welcome inside Upper Week's off to a great start. The Hall of Famer John Smoltz, I'm Joe Davis. Venezuela, and probably the game of the tournament on Saturday night, takes down the defending champion in Japan. They have 6 All-Stars in the lineup. They have a former MVP. They have a batting champ. And they're 1 win away from going to the championship for the first time.
It really is incredible when you talk about the first time. This is a proud country with stars, starting with Ronald Acuna. But they've done it offensively and done a great job scoring enough runs. But what they've also done is pitched pretty well. This game had a more emotion, and you couldn't paint a better picture for Team Venezuela to get here. Look, March Madness is right around the corner for NCAA. I don't know how many people could have predicted these two teams with a chance to go to the finals and take on Team USA.
Yeah, it's like a 15 seed knocking off a 2 and then getting to the Sweet 16. And Team Italy, yeah, they didn't just beat Team USA. They've beaten everybody. They're 5-0, and they're in the semis for the first time.
This is the best story in the tournament so far. Yes, they do have big leaguers on their roster, but nobody could have predicted they're 1 win away from facing USA for the second time. They've done it with thunder, power. Look at the offensive ranks. And oh, by the way, they got a really good pitcher on the mound for him in Aaron Nola. This team not only believes, they're confident, and they're not Cinderella anymore.
Well, the biggest name on the roster is also their heart and soul. And for more on the Italian captain, down to Tom Verducci.
Well, thanks, Joe. That's right. Vinny Pasquantino, the first baseman, you know him for his power. 32 home runs last year, 3 in 1 game against Mexico this year. But in the WBC, he has expanded on his power. The captain helps run the pregame hitters meetings. You'll see him during the game constantly talking to teammates about the opposing pitcher. And oh, by the way, he makes a mean cup of espresso in the dugout, hands out red wine to his teammates after the game, and leads the team in singing along to Bocelli and Sinatra on team charters. GM Ned Coletti has been in the game for more than 40 years, and he says Pasquantino is as great of a leader as he has ever been around. Vinny Pasquantino is El Cuore, the heart of Team Italy. Now here's Ken Rosenthal.
Thanks, Tom. A night of pitching chaos awaits. In fact, it already has started. Team Italy originally planned to start Michael Lorenzen, but instead switched to the more accomplished Aaron Nola. Lorenzen could follow Nola in a piggyback situation. It all depends on the score. Venezuela will go with Cater Montero, who has been fantastic for the Detroit Tigers the past 2 postseasons, but he's good tonight for only 45 to 50 pitches. Luider Avila, a starting pitching prospect in the Kansas City organization, also figures to work about 2 innings. From there, Venezuela plans to use 1-inning relievers the rest of the way. The managers will be active. The bullpen doors will be swinging, and the survivor gets Team USA. Joe.
All right, Kenny, you know the Americans are watching intently. Venezuela and Italy facing off in the semifinal. It's been a party here in Miami, and it continues with first pitch after this break.
Under the Miami lights, 2 cultures collide. Ronald Acuna Jr. and Venezuela's all-star cast don't just play the game, they ignite.
What a way to start for Acuna! He's done it again!
Fueled with a fiery passion and big play potential to seize the moment.
Venezuela has knocked out the reigning champs, and they're headed to the WBC semis for the first time in 17 years.
Across the diamond, the Italians are brewing something special.
Italy has done it! The Cinderella ride continues.
Venezuela, Italy, with only 1 spot in the championship.
Well, we know we're not going to have a repeat champ this year. Venezuela has already knocked out the defending champion Japan. The United States waits for the winner of this one. It is Venezuela and Italy. And on paper, of course, Venezuela favored, but Italy's hoping the great equalizer is right here. Aaron Nola, who's entering his 12th season with the Philadelphia Phillies, and he's coming off 5 scoreless innings against Mexico to get them into the quarterfinal.
Yeah, last year was a wonky year for him, but I love watching this guy pitch. He's about motion and spin, and he will throw 3 different fastballs, but he is going to break his curveball in so many different ways, and that's going to be the recipe of success. If he's going to have success, he's got to throw strikes, he's got to get ahead, but he's got to use his off speed against this really good Venezuelan team.
Here's the lineup tonight. Ronald Acuna leads things off, the first of the 6 All-Stars in this group, with Michael Garcia, Luis Arraez, and Eugenio Suarez to follow. Shortstop for the Rockies is Ezequiel Tovar. Gleyber Torres at second base. Wilyer Abreu, the hero from Saturday night. Contreras and Jackson Churio round things out against Nolan. Buckle up right away. It's Ronald Acuna to lead off the game for Venezuela. And he takes ball 1 from Nola. It was no surprise to see the way that he lit the fire on Saturday night. Tends to have a flair for the dramatic. Takes Yoshinobu Yamamoto deep to start that game. He's faced Aaron Nola more than 60 times in the Major League regular season. He's a .330 hitter against him with 4 home runs.
Well, Nola, when he's good, he's going to get a high chase percentage from the league, because that means he's throwing strikes and he's going to get guys to chase his fast off-speed stuff. And I think that's going to be the key again for the night. Got some good fastball hitters on this team.
Nola to Acuna with a 1-1 pitch and a line drive to right center field. Jacob Marcy's there for the first out of the game. You mentioned it being a wonky year last year for Aaron Nola. This guy who's 3 times in his career been top 10 in Cy Young voting. Last year he had a 6 ERA, injured his ankle, and he's working his way back from that, and he suffered a stress fracture in his rib and just never could get right.
No, when you have a lower half injury, especially to your base, and you're not going to have a great year, because that's so important for pitching.
First one to Michael Garcia is high and tight.
And then you compensate, and then something else gets hurt. You know, it just was one of those years he'd like to forget, but boy, oh boy, he's off to a good start in what would be considered spring training, but a high-level tournament, pitching Team Italy to a championship possibly.
Here's his 1-0 to Garcia, who bunts it along third. Jacob Fisher's only chances with a barehanded and throws wide. Michael Garcia, who homered to ignite the comeback on Saturday, has a bunt hit to give Venezuela the first base runner.
Well, both of these managers are going to apply the whatever it takes. And whatever it takes, whether it's small ball, whether it's relying on the home run to get to the championship, they're going to use every facet of the game.
Garcia's aboard, and Luis Arraez comes up to the plate. 3-time batting champ, statuesque. Taking ball 1.
I talked about how much fun I have when I watch Nola. I have the same respect and fun watching Arraez bat, because it's a throwback. It's not what we see very often, and his command of the strike zone, and his just doesn't swing and miss very often.
There goes Garcia. Arraez lofts a fly ball to center field from Marcy. Comes on, makes the catch. He's got a chance at 2. Throw back to first in time. Picked by Pasquantino. A double play. Jacob Marcy in his home ballpark. The young Miami Marlin with a double play to finish off this first inning. Well, this is a lineup that has 4 minor leaguers in it, has 3 big leaguers that have played less than 100 games in the majors, but only the Dominican Republic has been more productive than this group. More than half of their hits have gone for extra bases, bunch of home runs in pool play. And then in the quarterfinal against Puerto Rico was paper cuts. They had 6 singles, they had 8 walks, bunch of tough at-bats up and down this order. Sam Antonacci leads things off for Italy. Cater Montero's first pitch is a fastball that misses downstairs.
Well, this young man's got a really good arm, and he's had some outstanding playoff success for the Tigers the last couple times.
Now, 2 years going back and forth between the big leagues and AAA, but then You're talking about in the playoffs, 8 1/3 innings the last 2 years, no runs. And Omar Lopez, the manager for Venezuela, was watching. So as soon as they had a roster spot, said Montero's the first guy who popped into his head to fill it. For a big game like this, trying to pitch Venezuela to its first championship game. Even though it's only going to be 45 to 50 pitches, this is the guy they wanted to get it started. Here's his 2-1 to Antonacci. 2-2.
Yeah, it'll be a pass the baton type of game for the pitchers for Team Venezuela. And when you have these kind of games, you just want to put your teammate in the best case scenario when you pass it off, meaning don't give up any runs and keep the train moving.
Antonacci leading things off and fouling it off. White Sox minor leaguer, one of the 4 minor leaguers in this lineup. You say minor leaguer, but it's not that they're not good. It's just that these are young players who haven't yet established themselves. Team Italy is really a whole group of Italian Americans. They've got 22 players with major league experience, 21 of those born in the United States. Out another 2-2. Antonacci has worked it full. Francisco Cervelli played for Team Italy 2009 and in 2017. And now managing them for the first time. Really has devoted his life to taking over Team Italy. And he said devoted his life to a tournament the last 2 weeks. Well, he's moved to Italy. He's got a van and he drives around the country trying to uncover baseball talent, trying to spread love of the game. He said if this is a success, then the country is going to be a totally different place than where he found it in terms of its relationship with baseball. Strike 3 called. He finally retires Antonacci for the first out of the night.
Well, it's already making the front page of the sports, which never would it have that scenario playing out with soccer and the other sports they have over there. So it's already a victory, but he's not worried about that being a temporary thing. He wants to get to the championship and shock everybody.
John Birdie, one of the guys with major league experience on this roster. Sinker to the knees, strike 1 on Birdie. Played in this ballpark for the Miami Marlins a couple years ago and led the majors in stolen bases, 41 of them in the 2022 season. That was before the stolen base, the bigger bases and pickoff rule. 41 is a huge number in that year. John's trying to make his case to get a big league contract. 36 years old, does not have a team at this point. Having a good WBC with an on base of 500. He's homered, he's stolen a base. This tournament means a lot to just about everybody and for different reasons. For John, it can be a showcase. 2-2. Only undefeated team left in the World Baseball Classic. Team Italy beat USA, beat Mexico in pool play, and then took down Puerto Rico in the quarterfinals. The deepest run they've made in the World Baseball Classic. Three and 2. First start for Montero in the Classic. He worked out of the bullpen in pool play with 3 scoreless innings against Nicaragua. He's used to this swing roll. It's what he's played for the Tigers his first 2 years. His payoff is line towards center field and a base hit. First knock of the night for Team Italy comes from John Birdie.
When you look at these two offenses, they do a good job at not really striking out that much. And they've drawn out a lot of good at bats, and since we've been watching Team Italy, I've been impressed with the quality of their at bats. Of course, they have 12 home runs, but a relatively low strikeout total for a team that's had 12 home runs.
Yeah, and again, it didn't have any of them in the quarters and drew 8 walks to spark those rallies against a Puerto Rico pitching staff that had been awesome. Marcy goes up the middle. This is going to be a double play with a pick thanks to a rise right there on a bad throw from Tovar. After an inning in Miami, no score in the semifinal. To the second inning we go. No score. Joe Davis, John Smoltz, Ken Rosenthal, Tom Verducci, and Omar Lopez, who's the bench coach for the Astros, a baseball lifer. Second World Baseball Classic as the manager for Team Venezuela. He spent 28 years in the Astros organization, got his start as a scout and a coach at their Venezuelan academy, and first made his name. He was the first guy to give Jose Altuve a chance. Play the little guy. Play the little guy, he kept telling people back in the States. It helped Altuve get a start to his what will be Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
Strike one on Eugenio Suarez.
Yeah, we had a good talk with him and just his passion for what he does. And that's just oozed out of him when you think about the position they take. And they just not, managers don't have a lot of freedom of upside in this thing, right? They have all problems, pain, and stress, but he has really embraced it, taken the approach of putting a box and literally saying egos and saying drop your egos in here and then pick them up on your way out and bring them back to your team.
There's enough star power where you could have some pretty heavy egos, but said a bunch of selfless guys that have come together to make this deep run for Venezuela. And he said his whole goal as the manager is to make his country happy. Well, mission accomplished on Saturday night. He said folks were dancing in the streets back home after they beat Japan.
I was waiting for him to say, a player came and said, you're going to need a bigger box.
That was a pretty big night for us. He's a player himself, played 100 games in the minors. He said he would have been a Hall of Famer if the field was pointed the other way. Anytime he sees a guy foul one back, he's like, ah, that was me. 2-2 on Suarez.
Yeah, whatever that angle is that goes to foul balls over the front over the dugout on the first base side, whatever that angle is, he said if the field was that angle, I'm pretty good.
King of the flare foul. 2-2 on Suarez. Grounds it foul. You can always feel pretty good about making a bet. You're going to have a home run or a strikeout when Eugenio Suarez is at the plate.
That's exactly right. He definitely is ready to swing and ready to lift the ball.
325 home runs in his career. That's third all time for players from Venezuela. Miguel Cabrera, Andres Galarraga, and then Eugenio Suarez, who stays alive here.
Got quite the coaching staff over there in Team Venezuela. There's a bunch of guys over there that were tough outs.
Including Cabrera, who's the hitting coach.
Yeah.
Victor Martinez, the assistant manager. The pitching coach is Johan Santana. Not just a star-studded lineup. Wow, this is interesting. Suarez had asked for time, had stepped out of the box, but the home plate umpire Jeremy Rahak didn't give it to him. So he was skating back into the box as that pitch came home and did well to stay alive still.
Wow, that was crazy. And great hand-eye coordination.
Wow. Miguel Cabrera, they say, is the loudest guy on the bench. Badly wants his country to win this thing. He played in the first 5 World Baseball Classics for Venezuela. 2-2. This is the 9th pitch to Suarez. Yeah, and he takes it just low. Who is this guy?
Yeah. There is Miguel Cabrera. My goodness. What an incredible hitter.
All started right here in Miami for him. A payoff pitch. Breaks in for strike 3. Nola wins the battle on the 10th pitch with that curveball.
If Nola, like I said, throws enough strikes with his fastball, this curveball becomes his weapon. He front doors the curveball, which means he buckles the right-handed hitter because it starts in and then just finishes in. And the hitter is always looking for that ball to break the other way out over the plate.
Well, he's right. That pitch is one of the best in the league. Comes home to Ezequiel Tovar. Starts him with a fastball for a strike. And against Mexico, Nola had the curveball working. He had misses on half of the swings against it. His pitching coach, Caleb Cotham, said after watching that game it was a Nola masterclass. Phillies fans, their staff, so excited what they saw as he tries to have a bounce-back year. 1-1 on Tovar.
Tovar is pretty good middle to down. He's got some weak spots up. It's a good matchup for him because Nola likes to keep the ball down, that two-seam sinker and then the curveball.
Tovar 6 out of 9 in this tournament. Swings and misses at that changeup for strike 2. It was Andres Jimenez who figured to at least split time with Tovar at the start of the tournament, but it's undeniable what Tovar's done. And he's in there in this winter go-home semi. 24-year-old Colorado Rocky. Takes in the dirt, 2-2. He said to Omar Lopez today, you know, you've unlocked a beast here in Tovar. And Lopez very quickly said, no, the WBC has unlocked a beast in Tovar. Few of these guys elevated by the environment in here. Everything at stake. Got to have the right temperament, though, right? Because it's going to raise everybody through the roof. And Lopez said it's the guys with the calmer, steadier personalities that are thriving.
Yeah, because it's a unique tournament and there has so many different pressure points. The emotion you can play for and play with, you can sustain that in this tournament. You cannot sustain that in a long baseball season. And that's why you see everybody getting out of the dugout and doing everything they have to do, because they realize how important it is. And it might rub some people the wrong way until they realize this is not a normal tournament. It's bigger for other countries than anything else they ever play in.
Now the long AB here. Tovar chases. Strike 3. Back-to-back Ks for Nola on that curve.
Here's the other thing nobody talks about. When you lose getting to this point, it's like falling off of a cliff, because now you're like, oh, I got to go back and make my way back to my team. Not that you don't want to do that. You're on such an adrenaline high and you want to play to the end. I mean, no greater example than Team Japan. What do they fly? 15,000 miles or so for one game and turn around. Now, for some of the stars in Major League Baseball, they didn't go back to Japan. They went back to their teams. But for the rest of them, they went back home.
Similar deal for Team Korea. Came here, got beat by the Dominicans in the quarterfinal. The ball on Gleyber Torres. Yeah, you have the emotional high of this tournament. It feels like Game 7 of the World Series a lot of nights. And then you go back, not just to your big league team, but back to the end of spring training, where it's kind of in the doldrums, even if you're not coming off of this.
Yeah, you're saying, ugh. And then some of them are going to AAA or AA, and it's even a different scenario. So it's an experience they'll never forget, but it's one they want to last and get to the championship for sure.
Well, the good news is the real thing starts next week. Opening day across Major League Baseball, Wednesday and Thursday next week. For Gleyber Torres, that'll be with the Detroit Tigers, his second season there. He's an all-star in his first year in Detroit. Bounced along third and foul. Torres had a great first half. Second half, not nearly as good, and it was like, what was going on? Well, it turns out he was fighting a bad injury and had to have a hernia surgery at the end of the year. We're hoping that has that clear, and he's going to be back to what he did in that all-star first half. He led off for the American League in the all-star game as the starting second baseman. One of the 6 All-Stars in this Venezuela lineup. On paper, huge advantage for Team Venezuela tonight. What stands in the way, though, is Aaron Nola, lone All-Star for Team Italy. His payoff pitch is lined to left center field, and a base hit for Torres. 2-out single.
That one hung a little bit, and he stayed on it. He just gets it over the shortstop. Does a good job staying back. Keeps his hands back, even if you get a little out in front and keep your hands back on a breaking ball. If you think right center on a breaking ball, you're going to pull it, but you'll have the right approach to hit that pitch.
Wilyer Abreu, one of the biggest heroes of this tournament. Skies the first pitch he sees into center field. There was Abreu that had the game-winning home run against Japan, but here he flies out on the first pitch against Nola. Show your country pride at MLBShop.com. Check out the largest selection of authentic World Baseball Classic jerseys, caps, t-shirts, and more. MLBShop.com, the official source for all your WBC gear.
That's a gold mine right now. The amount of jerseys and stuff. Woo.
Francisco Cervelli was saying he heard Team Italy gear flies off of the shelf faster than anybody's during the WBC. Catching on in Italy, but a lot of that has to do with the proud Italian Americans that have latched onto this team. And here's the face of this group of Italian Americans, Vinny Pasquantino, who's from Richmond, Virginia, but as Tom Verducci told you, has become the captain, the heart and soul of this team, ringleader of all the fun they're having. He's just happy to get involved on the field, though, because he was doing all this stuff off of the field.
Yeah.
But he was 0 for his first 12 going into the Mexico game, when he turned it on in a big way with the first 3 home run game in Classic history.
Yeah, it was all in his plan, I think. You know, like take care of his teammates, and then when they needed him the most, he came through, and somebody else had to pass out the drinks and give the kisses.
On a 2-0 pitch, Pasquantino taps it past the mound. Not going to be an easy play. And the throw is in time. Just barely in time. Garcia gets him.
Of course, they were playing deep, and he had to come in and really make this transfer quick, and he did. Just gets the big lugging first baseman.
You know, he didn't just hit 3 home runs against Mexico. He had 2 stolen bases on Saturday against Puerto Rico, which was his total for the last 2.5 years with the Royals. DeZenzo lashes a line drive base hit into center. He said, "Espresso makes me fast." DeZenzo's on, and Jack Caglione's coming to the plate. He's the subject of our player profile, sponsored by AT&T. He's reminded folks in Kansas City why they drafted him where they did. 6th overall out of Florida a couple years back. Got to the majors, and it was a rough go of it. But he was having a great spring with Kansas City. He's come here to the WBC and shown off for Italy. 6'4", 250 pounds. Looks every bit of the part of a slugger.
Yeah, you just, I mean, it doesn't always translate when you see somebody in there and their stance and like, man, they look hitterish. And he does right now. He looks hitterish, and you wonder how that will translate for him and his confidence moving forward.
Had to take a tremendous amount of confidence from going deep against Team USA. The biggest win in Italian baseball history. Even with that bad rookie year that he had, that included one of the longest home runs in Major League Baseball last year. He hit a ball 466 feet at Kauffman Stadium. That got out even there. Ball 3. He was a two-way guy at Florida, was Caglione. In fact, going in there, folks thought of him more highly as a pitcher than they did as a hitter. And so then coach saw me take BP, and he's like, all right, maybe we should reconsider. I think you're going to hit 2. Led the country, 33 home runs in 2024. He's got a 4-pitch walk, and Italy's got something brewing here against Montero.
Italy can throw out a lot of left-handed hitters, so it'd be interesting to see how they take advantage of the righties and cash in on a situation like this. You don't get a ton of opportunities. You got to make the most of it.
Yeah, 6 left-handed hitters in this lineup, including the one coming up here. It's Andrew Fisher, another one of the young players with a bright future. First-round pick of the Brewers a couple years back, and one of the top third base prospects in the game. He's knocked in 5 in just 3 games in the WBC. Italy with the first chance in this game. First and second, one away. Montero deals. Fisher takes a strike. Just missed a grand slam against Puerto Rico. It looked like it for a moment that it was a grand slam, but fan had reached over the fence and became a double. Action in the bullpen. Montero deals. 1-1. Fisher said he always wanted a shot to play for Team USA. He's from New Jersey. But at every level, no matter how hard he tried, no matter how many camps he went to, never got a chance. He said, I got a little chip on my shoulder about that. It's more than just being cool to play in the WBC. I'm mad that it's not for Team USA. Extra motivation suiting up for Italia. Ball 2. Just throughout the Classic, John, we've seen this patient bats.
No, they do not look at one bit overmatched. You might think, okay, don't know really a lot of them if you're tuning in going, yeah, I know they're got potential and they're prospects and there's a few major league. But man, when you lock in and see their at-bats, especially the way they had against USA and Mexico, and we didn't get a chance to see most of the Puerto Rico game, but man, tip of the hat. You just go, wow, there's a reason they're here.
Where they look like a team playing with house money versus these baseball powers. There's so much pressure on a country like Venezuela or the United States to be good in this tournament. Nobody saw these guys coming. They've loaded the bases against Montero here in the second. A visit from Johan Santana, part of that star-studded coaching staff for Team Venezuela. Santana been coaching his son's JV team in Fort Myers, Florida. Been involved a little bit with the Mets through the years as an advisor. What a pitching coach. What a resource for a young staff. This looks like more of a motivational talk.
Yeah.
Anything strategic.
Well, I mean, it's interesting here. They got somebody up in the pen, and this probably is his last hitter, especially if he gives up a hit, I would think. But, you know, your job as a pitching coach is to come out and get them refocused after walking 2 batters in a row. And whatever they saw mechanically, you've got to give them that tip as well. And tell them to go back downhill and hit the target and maybe get that double play ball.
J.J. Durazio, catcher for Italy, who didn't figure to see any time in this Classic because Kyle Teal of the White Sox was the starting catcher, but Teal got hurt. Durazio's come in and knocked in 3 in the quarterfinal.
He's been really good at the plate.
There's nowhere to put him, and Montero's having a hard time finding the strike zone. Same way they built rallies against Puerto Rico Saturday. Montero's 1-0. Ripped down the line. Foul. Nice catch down there.
I was waiting for the bat boy to do what every team member does when they do something well and they show their jersey with their hands across it. Show us BP. EB, bat boy right there.
The 1-1, Durazio almost got hit by it. Durazio spent last year in A-ball, a little bit of time in Double-A in the Diamondback system. Now with the Angels. Single and 2 walks to load him up. Italy looking to crack through first. Takes a breaker for a strike, and it's 2-2.
That was a huge pitch right there to get back in the count. Now 2-2. He has not had a good strike to ball ratio, especially in this inning. And this pro Venezuelan crowd wants to stay in the fight.
Montero could badly use a strikeout. His 2-2. Check swing, no swing, and the count is full.
Yeah, now they've been close. More elbows than anything else.
Here's the payoff, and he's walked in a run. Italy continues to be disciplined. Montero's missed the strike zone with 21 pitches. Italy's only chased one of them. A bases loaded walk from Durazio scores the first run as DeZenzo steps on home. And that's going to do it for Montero. 3 consecutive walks. Italy on the board first. Three consecutive free passes from Cater Montero has Italy on the board, has his night finished, and the bullpen going to work early. As Ken Rosenthal predicted we may see Omar Lopez being aggressive. This is Ricardo Sanchez who comes on to pitch here. The 9-hitter Dante Nori's up, bases loaded.
This is it's a pivotal. I mean, this is a break it open moment for Team Italy, and Venezuela has the power to come back offensively, but this would be a huge blow to them to start the game.
Nori bounces one right side at second base. Gleyber Torres will go to second for 1. That's all they'll get, and it's 2-0. Caglione scores and a ground out from Nori.
Whenever you're facing a team that's obviously not been favored in their last 3 or 4 games, and they have a really good starting pitcher on the mound, it gives that team a lot more confidence when they've got some breathing room. Look, the bullpen may not be as good as some of the other bullpens, but their offense is made up for it, and they put the ball in play.
That's what the Phillies farmhand Dante Nori does right here. Back to the top in Antonacci. Started this game with a strikeout. Antonacci, a White Sox farmhand. He homered against Team USA. 2 on and 2 out, and he takes ball 1.
I know we don't see these very often, but man, if he were to drag a bunt towards the second baseman, there's no chance they could get him out. Lefty on lefty.
Not even in the picture there. 1-2. Chance for Sanchez to limit the damage. There goes the runner from first. Just outside. 2-2 and 2 in scoring position as Nori steals second.
Huge jump.
The 2-2 pitch. Count goes full.
This is the hitter he wants right now. I mean, a right-handed batter, and Birdie coming up next.
With the run of major league hitters after Antonacci. on a payoff pitch. Fouls it off, and we'll do it again. Italy playing in its first semifinal. Leading 2-0. Second and third, 2 out. Another 3-2 pitch. Antonacci stays alive.
They haven't trailed much either. It's been amazing.
Along first, that's a fair ball. Arise races to the bag and beats him. But the first 2 runs have scored, and they come from Team Italy, trying to pull off yet another upset and stop Venezuela's music in this WBC.
Welcome back to Miami, here with Team Venezuela manager Omar Lopez. Omar, obviously the walks hurt you that last inning, but what makes Italy's offense so good?
I mean, watching their games, you know, I mean, especially some of the hitters in their career, they're very patient. They're very patient. They do some damage at times with their pitches, but they're very patient. They battle a lot with pitches around the zone. They draw a lot of walks. That's what makes Italy special. We got to attack and make them swing the bat and get themselves out.
Venezuela has never reached the WBC final. Omar, what about this team makes it so special?
It's a determination. We're not gonna stop fighting until the last inning to kind of come back in this game and win it. We're gonna do our best to come back in this game.
Finally, Omar, what would it mean to the people of Venezuela for this team to win this tournament?
Right now, it means everything. Right now, nobody's doing anything else besides watching us play, okay? And they're expecting for us to win tonight, to celebrate, and still happy for maybe about a week. So we're going to do our best to make sure we accomplish that goal.
Omar, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Joe, back to you.
It's William Contreras leading off this inning, 2 balls and 1 strike. And just think about that. Contrast what Team Italy's feeling. Nobody in the country watches baseball. They're starting to, but there is no pressure for Team Italy. Team Venezuela feels like they're carrying an entire country.
Well, it's special to them, and they've seen their stars be developed and play, and Hall of Famers. Not to mention it's 2 in the morning when this game started in Italy, too. It's a little tougher to watch.
Ratings over there. 3 balls and 1 strike on the all-star catcher Contreras of the Milwaukee Brewers. Nola throws, and Contreras takes ball 4, just barely down, and a leadoff walk. Well, here, John, is one of the best pieces of evidence how much talent there is in this Venezuela lineup. That Jackson Churrio's hitting 9th.
Yeah, if you want to know why the Milwaukee Brewers are having great seasons the last couple, just look at the WBC and some of the players that are having the success for their teams, including Team USA.
Yeah, Bryce Farang has been a standout star for the Americans. Milwaukee with more players in the WBC than just about anybody. And this kid right here, Jackson Churrio, just turned 22 years old, and he's already going into his 3rd year in the big leagues. Not an 0-1 from Nola. Churrio fouls it back, strike 2. Revitalizing Miguel Cabrera. Now he's got him as a hitting coach, and this guy is full of talent.
Yeah, and as soon as he learns to cut back a little bit of that chase, especially in this count with 2 strikes, expanding the zone, he's got an aggressive approach, and there's a balance to the aggression and chase.
Pop up. Pasquantino at first. And Churrio's the first out. Aaron Nola working on an 8th scoreless inning to start his time in the World Baseball Classic. Venezuela about to get another look at him. Up comes Ronald Acuna Jr.
He'll be ready on that first pitch.
Always is. Came back from the knee injury last year. Misses a year. Steps into the batter's box. Very first pitch that he sees. Hits 467 feet. Ahead 2-0.
He has a unique style in which, first of all, being young and strong, you can pull it off. But he carries that bat almost straight up. And you know how strong you got to be and how quick to the ball you are when you have this kind of style of hitting. And he won't be able to do it his whole career. But right now, that is electric quick. Because to generate that kind of power, your hands got to stay back. There's got to be that movement away from the ball, and then the barrel of the bat stays in that zone. That's why he has such electric pop to all parts of the field.
So much life to his game. The electric Acuna on 3-0 takes strike one. 8 years in the major leagues. Man, does time fly. Feels like he just got there as the 19-year-old. When he's been healthy, which has not been enough for how fun a player he is, but when he's been healthy, won Rookie of the Year. He's got an MVP with a one-of-a-kind season where he hit 41 home runs and he stole 73 bases. Even with all the injuries, the home runs and the stolen bases that he stacked up through 8 seasons, the only guys in baseball history that have done what he's done, Bobby and Barry Bonds and Alfonso Soriano, even though he's only played about 100 games a year. On a payoff pitch, Acuna takes strike 3. Breaking ball drops in and fools him.
From 3-0 to 3-2 to the backwards K in the scorebook. We don't see too many of those against the likes of Acuna. When he's got the count in his favor, 3-0, there's not a lot of good things that happens from pitchers.
Nola has his 3rd strikeout. Here's Michael Garcia. Bunt single his first time. Garcia, the Kansas City Royals, had his breakout season last year. Was not even in the opening day lineup. He hadn't hit very well at all his first 2 seasons in the majors. Kind of an afterthought to begin last year, but by the end of it, an all-star, a gold glove, and a new 5-year contract.
Got to get him out down below the zone. He commands the middle part of the strike zone very well for a young player and a good off-speed hitter.
Omar Lopez is saying maybe more than anybody he's seen the environment here at the WBC elevate Garcia, who's hitting .450 now. On the ground to short for Antonacci. Shovels it off to Birdie. 3 more scoreless innings from Aaron Nola.
Hey, welcome back to Miami. I'm with Team Italy manager Francesco Cervelli. Aaron Nola at 48 pitches. What do you see so far, and how much does he have in the tank?
Well, he's throwing the ball well. We'll see in the next inning. Velo went down a little bit, but he's okay, so he's going to continue.
Francisco, we saw the deke at shortstop by Antonacci on that double play. The lack of chase swings in the 2nd inning. How proud of you are the style of baseball this team is playing?
Well, this kid, I mentioned it earlier. This kid is different than everybody else. His awareness is unbelievable. So he's been doing this. This is not the first time.
Thanks so much, Francisco.
Thank you.
John Birdie rounds out the short for the first out of the 3rd. Extra special for Francisco Cervelli, the semifinal matchup with Venezuela, because Francisco was born and raised there to an Italian father. His dad's family immigrated from Italy after World War II. We asked Francisco today how Italian was the Cervelli household in Venezuela, and he closed his eyes and he said he kind of went back to as a kid. Sunday afternoons going to grandma's house. He said, I can still smell the ragu. We'd have 50 Cervellis over there at grandma's house every Sunday afternoon having the traditional Italian Sunday pasta lunch or dinner. Broken bat roller. What a pick there with a bare hand by Sanchez, covering off of the feed from Arise to get Marcy.
Wow, that was a special play. That's hard to practice, yet alone in spring training when pitchers' fundamentals. You got to get there and see the ball, usually in your glove and the bag at the same time, but he barehands it. I can speak to what Cervelli was saying because that was how I grew up, in Sundays and parties at the grandmother's house and homemade Italian. You don't realize when you live like that, you don't eat Italian out very often. You just don't. You don't go to restaurants and order Italian when you've had it the authentic way.
You're spoiled, huh? Pasquantino here with one away, or with two away. 1-0 pitch, a strike. So he goes back to Grandma's Ragu. What is the dish for you?
Oh, the homemade spaghetti. Okay. The sauce that you can dip bread, you can have it like soup, is so good. And you know, my grandmother used to, and I just never could put on weight when I was young, and she would always be pushing the food and said, I could see your ribs. And you know, just the whole family oriented gathering is what you got used to doing all the time.
3-1 on Pasquantino. His dad's side of the family is from Italy. Rounds it foul. Pasta consumption, Tom Bertucci dug this up for us. Pasta consumption per capita by pounds. Venezuela's third in the world. Italy and Tunisia, the only countries where they eat more pasta. Pasquantino takes ball forward just off of the outside.
I will tell you this. Thanksgiving turkey's an appetizer.
Well, there's an estimated 5 million people living in Venezuela of Italian heritage. One of the largest concentrations in the world of people of Italian descent. And he kept alive for Zenzo, who takes a strike. Venezuela means Little Venice. Italian explorers came in what is now Venezuela. They saw a village that was built on the water, reminded them of Venice. Zenzo singled his first time, ducks out of the way of this fastball. Count evens 1-1. Bottom of the order last inning, got those 2 runs in, and it started with Zenzo's base hit. Cue shot. Inside the line and a rise. A wait for Zenzo. 10 the bottom of the third. To the fourth we go. 2-0. Team Italy. Welcome back to the 2026 World Baseball Classic on FS1, presented by Capital One. 2 runs in the second inning from Italy. Out of the fourth inning we go. Team USA awaits after the 2-1 win over the Dominican Republic last night. What a ball game that was. Tight and tense throughout. And the Americans just barely hang on and await what will be a first-time participant in the championship game coming out of this one. Three, 4, and 5 coming up for Team Venezuela. Only 2 hits against Aaron Nola so far. One of them an infield hit. It's Luis Arise to lead off. Arise takes strike 1 to the bottom of the knees. Arise getting ready to start his first season with the Giants. Wanted a chance to play second base again. He'd been playing mostly first base in San Diego and had offers from other places, multi-year contracts, but He wanted to play second. Giants are willing to take his high average bat, his contact ability, and work with him defensively. Puts this one in play to second to a charging John Birdie for the first out of the fourth. Aaron Nola showing why Team Italy wanted him to be the guy today. They'll figure out the championship game if they get there. They want their best guy trying to get him Tuesday.
Yeah, he looks more like the Nola that most of his career for Philadelphia has been the pitcher, and getting away from last year's injury-riddled season. But, man, he knows how to pitch, and it's fun to watch him for a former pitcher to see him navigate a lineup without throwing 97 miles an hour, just spinning it, changing speeds, and throwing enough fastballs for strikes.
It was 93 the first 2 innings. He's been 91-92 the last inning plus, which is where he sat for a lot of last year. This is Suarez, who worked a 10-pitch at bat his first time before striking out. I don't know, 1 from Nola. Suarez leans into it, sends it in the air, deep left field, Nori to the wall, it's gone! Venezuela's on the board. Gino Suarez with a home run. .325 of those in his major league career. Puts a charge into this pro Venezuela crowd, really this all Venezuela crowd. Strike on Tovar. Low throw, Pescantino's there to peel him out. Another look at the Suarez home run.
Yeah, that one hung in the middle of the zone, and just that classic swing. We talked about it. He's swinging for the moon. Sometimes he doesn't get too many barrels on the ball, but he's there for one reason: homer.
49 of them last year. 21 of them came against breaking balls. That was more than any hitter in baseball. And that's what he got right there to take Nola deep and get Venezuela on the board. Strike on Gleyber Torres. And man, oh man, did he set off a surge of excitement from this crowd. There are more Venezuelans living in Miami than any city in the U.S. Torres towards the hole. No chance for Antonacci. Infield hit Gleyber Torres, and the tying run aboard in the fourth.
We've seen Bobby Witt do a lot of this, but not even Bobby Witt, I don't think, could have gotten that and thrown him out.
Here's the guy who put him in front with a home run against Japan, Wilyer Abreu. Grounds this one to second, and Birdie. That'll do it for the Venezuelans in the fourth, but they are on the board and they're rocking here in Miami. It's Eugenio Suarez finding the seats. And it's a 2-1 ball game. Eugenio Suarez launching a home run, and it's a 2-1 game to the bottom of the fourth, where the winner moves on to the championship to take on the United States. Luinder Avila comes on to pitch for Venezuela on a day where Omar Lopez is going to be busy making changes. He said pretty much 2 innings per guy. And this is another one of the young pitchers. He's just 24. Avila made his debut last year for the Kansas City Royals, dominated out of the bullpen. As they try to build the next generation of Team Venezuela, he's one of the guys they wanted involved.
Lots of curveballs and a 96+ mile-an-hour fastball.
Caglione, Fisher, Durazio coming up. First time they haven't had that guy as an active player. Played in the first 5. Noel Tuve this time around. He had the thumb injury last time. The Astros didn't want to risk that again. And so they very much are looking for that next batch of ball players to carry this nation's great baseball tradition. Caglione left side with charging Garcia. Michael Garcia's throw is in time for the first out of the 4th. Notice through 4 innings, just the 1 run and the home run, and judging by the body language over there, looks like he may be finished.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you know, it gets to a point where if this were a regular season game, of course they would stretch him out a little bit more, but he did what he needed to do and left with the lead.
And you see Lorenzen's warming, so we're going to see both starting pitchers that Team Italy figured to have factor into these 2 games here. Should there be a second? Should there be a championship appearance? The plan that everybody assumed was Lorenzen today, Nola in the championship, but instead both of them going to try and get him to the championship. Andrew Fisher breaks his bat on a teardrop of a base hit into left center field. He's on both times. Destroyed. Now Durazio.
Tell you what, I like this guy a lot. I mean, from not really getting a ton of playing time to being the guy now. He's had some really good at-bats.
Manager likes him a lot too. Those guys got a lot in common. Venezuelans, but with Italian heritage, playing catcher. Francisco did in the major leagues for 13 years. First one to Durazio is in there for no ball. Oh, 1-0. There's a strike. Avila trying to make the Royals opening day roster as a relief pitcher. Chance that his long-term future is as a starter. Best path forward right now is through the bullpen.
Yeah, I wish it weren't the way. I see too many of that. I wish it weren't the way, but that's kind of the channels that they're bringing all these young arms into the big leagues.
Bouncing ball left side to the hole at short. Tovar goes to second in time. So they keep Fisher out of scoring position as Ezequiel Tovar. He's got a Gold Glove. And his time in Colorado makes a heck of a play right here.
Yeah, really only play was that second base. So every infielder has a time clock, has a clock that we know, okay, based on this speed, that bounce, the base runner, the hitter. You have to predetermine and think about things before they happen because it's such a fast reaction sport. Make the right choice.
Dante Nori off the end of the bat serves a fly ball to left center field. Routine for Abreu. And after 4 innings in Miami, a 2-1 game, Michael Lorenzen gets ready to take over for Nola. From the WBC to all the spring training games, we've got you covered with the #1 app for live baseball, the MLB app. Download it now. Back in Miami, a 2-1 score in this semifinal with Team Italy trying to stay perfect and advance to the first championship game in Italian baseball history. Venezuela also looking for its first trip to the championship. Michael Lorenzen, who threw 4 2/3 scoreless innings against Team USA in that shocking win for Italy in Houston, piggybacks Aaron Nola with a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, he's throwing the kitchen sink, by the way. He's got 6 or 7 pitches, and he'll throw them all. And he did an incredible job against a heavily favored USA team that knew him, faced him, but couldn't get anything going against him. You know, I was trying to think. There's a long way to go, but I don't know of anything that I can think of that if Team Italy were to win this all, that's comparable. I mean, the miracle on ice, I don't even know if you can go down that road. From when this started to what they're doing to if they were to keep going and win it all, it's what this tournament was designed for, to see stories like this and teams like this in countries.
William Contreras leading off this inning for Venezuela. He's ahead 2-0 on Lorenzen. Captain Pasquantino was saying that they look at it as kind of holding the torch for now. And the end game is that this increases visibility for the sport in Italy, and that eventually got a WBC team built of all guys that were born and raised there. 3-0 very quickly on Contreras. 9 big leaguers all time have been born in Italy. Only 2, though, were raised there. A lot of them born there, then came to the United States. 4-pitch walk to start this inning. The tying run is aboard just like that. Here's Jackson Churio.
4-pitch walk to this guy doesn't mean he's going to take the first pitch. So quality pitch here by Lorenzen.
Churio shows bunt, and there was a quality pitch and a strike. So after the 4 2/3 innings against USA, a 4-pitch walk for Lorenzen. They open up this relief outing. Acuna waits on deck as Churio waits on an 0-1. He bunts it. Lorenzen will go to first. Tying run goes to second.
Well, Team Venezuela's manager Omar said, I'm going to use any way, anyhow that I think is going to give us the best chance to win this game. A lot of it might be gut. Some of it might be information. But I'm going to trust my gut, too.
And his gut told him to have a guy that has bunted twice in 2 years in the major leagues. Lay one down right there to set the table for his superstar Acuna, who takes ball 1 outside. Ball and a strike. Lorenzen's 1-1. Acuna tries to lay off and does. He's ahead 2 balls and 1 strike. Second WBC that Ronald's played in. He credited playing in the 23 WBC with sparking that MVP season that followed. On a 2-1 pitch, fouls it off, and it's 2-2. Contreras at second. 2-2 to the plate. Ball 3 on Acuna. Lorenzen's payoff will come after a look to second. event and a team connecting generations of baseball greats. Miguel Cabrera, the hitting coach, watching as Ronald Acuna. It's a pop fly into shallow left field. Won't even make it that far. Third baseman Fisher called off by Antonacci. 2 away.
Lorenzen's been through the fire. He's not fazed by anything, and he looks calm, cool, and collected when he's out there pitching. And I'd like to see, he's going to Colorado, right?
Yep.
I'd like to see how calm, cool, collected. If he can do that out there, he can do it here.
Pretty good tune-up to get ready for the challenge of pitching there. Michael Garcia wraps it on the ground to short. Antonacci's there for it, and Venezuela strands Contreras at second. Winder Avila stays on to pitch in a 2-1 game. Top of the order coming up for Team Italy. 2 runs coming in the second inning. Lone remaining unbeaten in this tournament, not just a Cinderella at this point, the only unbeaten team. 5-0, trying to take down Venezuela to make the championship for the first time. Sam Antonacci fouls off the first pitch from Avila. And Italy's doing to Venezuela what the Americans did to the Dominicans. You got Venezuela and the Dominican Republic combined for 85 runs through the quarterfinals. A solo home run last night, all the Dominicans mustered, and that's all that Venezuela's been able to score against Italy. Avila to Antonacci, up the middle. Tovar, 1 out.
Well, the espresso machine has not been utilized today, but I bet you they would take a day off from that if they were able to win this game without a homer.
Little caffeine break.
Yeah.
Reset the system. Sleep a little bit tonight. John Birdie fouls back the first one. They drink coffee all day, espresso shots all day. Yeah, in Italy.
What they say, 8? Didn't he say 8 was the norm?
That wouldn't be crazy. They're espresso coffee bars. You go in, you have a shot of espresso, you have a quick chat. Not quite the coffee shop culture that it is here, where you're sitting down, you're hanging out, you're meeting. No, you go in there, you get your fuel, and you keep going with your day. And then you do it again 7 more times. 0-2 on Birdie. Avila fires. Oh man, a cross up that gets Jeremy Rahak.
Yeah, he's expecting a little breaking ball there, and that is center off the mask. There's no defense for that. The umpire's got to trust the catcher.
On a 2-1 game, Italy in front, bottom of the 5th inning. Let's check in with Tom Verducci.
Well, this is the first game that Team Italy has access to iPads in the dugout provided by MLB, but you really wouldn't know it. Now, Michael Lorenzen is looking at it, but not a single hitter has checked in on an iPad tonight. I talked to the hitting coach Frank Menachino. He said, we haven't had it throughout the WBC, and I think we're doing pretty well. it's really interesting. What you do see is guys at the top step talking to one another about how the pitcher is attacking them and how the pitches are moving. It really is almost like, well, high school baseball or analog baseball. You just don't see this in a major league game where most guys, as soon as they take in a bat, are on the iPad.
High school baseball, old school baseball, and I think that it has come at the expense of that, of teammates interacting and discussing what they're seeing. Fly lazily to right center field. Easy play for Jackson Churio. Well, there was a stretch a couple years ago where the Dodgers thought that they all got too in their own thing. Everybody was too buried in the iPad, and so they put them away for a long stretch, so it fostered more of those conversations.
Well, there's something to be said for the feel of the game, and you got to trust the player that just came from the batter's box to give you that feel and perspective, because there's nothing better than the visible evidence that you get to see for yourself and pass it on.
Avila doing a nice job here.
Got him.
And until I said that, now he hits Marcy. And Italy's got a 2-out base runner as Marcy reaches for the first time tonight.
I'll condense this story really short because it's funnier hearing it out. But Ralph Garr, long time ago, leadoff hitter for the Atlanta Braves. And back then, the leadoff hitter used to take a lot of pitches and then come back and tell the guys, what has he got? Well, he's facing Nolan Ryan. And so after the first at bat, he comes in and he goes, boys, this game is over. Talk about setting the tone.
The inning kept alive for Pasquantino, who tried to aim one inside the bag down there, but the defense pulled around, but it's foul. One ball game. Pasquantino with a big rip and a foul, and it's 0-2. Three, 4, and 5 due up for the Venezuelans in the 6th inning. Strike 3 called on the inside corner for Avila. The bullpen 3 2/3 scoreless innings after Montero struggled, keeping him in the game. To the 6th inning, Venezuela's star-studded lineup. Just a solo home run tonight from Eugenio Suarez, who will bat second in this 6th inning against Michael Lorenzen.
Yeah, big inning here. Team Italy has survived at least one base runner every inning. They've pitched around their traffic, and you just wonder how much more they can do that if Venezuela keeps getting runners on and that big inning is looming.
To rise to lead things off. 0 for 2 in this ball game. Gathered at .354 here in Miami a few years back. Part of a stretch of 3 straight years where he won the batting title every year. That was his finest. .354. Last year the average was down in San Diego, but he had the lowest strikeout rate since Tony Gwynn. Ahead 2-1. He stands out like a beautiful sore thumb in this day and age where the league average is about .245. He's well above .300 for his career.
Yeah, he has the same kind of approach as Acuna with the bat, but he doesn't need the power.
Fly to center field, Jacob Marcy.
Good defense, timely pitching for Team Italy.
Here is the guy with the big swing for Venezuela, Eugenio Suarez. He would love to have a big swing one of these days that held up. He had his grand slam in Game 5 of the ALCS for the Mariners that put them or in Game 5, put them within 1 win. Going to the World Series, but 2 Blue Jays wins after that, and that grand slam won't shine as brightly. When viewed back, punches this one to right field. Caglione, an easy play, 2 out. Same deal here. He's got a big home run for his country, but in a losing effort to this point. Michael Lorenzen has retired 5 in a row since he walked the first man that he faced on 4 pitches. Base is empty, 2 out. The hitter's Tovar.
Starts getting a little anxious from this point on when a team that's favored is trailing, and the prize is the championship game.
Getting late early. Tovar yanks that one into the Italy dugout. Oh for 2 today. 6 out of 11 in the tournament, though. Tovar reached the major leagues when he was 21 years old for the Rockies. Flies it to right. Caglione coming on, and 3 weak fly balls in an 8-pitch 6th inning for Michael Lorenzen. This is the first time, maybe ever, baseball has stolen some of the headlines over there in Italy, taking the front pages of the newspapers. The quarterfinal game was the first baseball game ever nationally televised, and more than half of the country tuned into it.
It's, again, part of the efforts of this tournament was to create that awareness and excitement, and maybe building the program of baseball.
5 hitters, Zach DeZenzo, the Houston Astros, to lead off this 6th inning. Winder Avila and this Venezuela bullpen has kept them in the ball game. After Cater Montero struggled out of the gates, 2 runs against him in the 2nd, and he was yanked. Nothing against the pen, though. And you look at what Italy's doing, the bullpen for them, the relative weakness. And so Francisco Cervelli saying, we're just not going to have a bullpen tonight. You got the 4 innings from Nola. Could Lorenzen finish this game for him? There is a chance he'll be without Greg Weissert tonight, the closer for Team Italy. All these guys, this is what you're going to find with any of these guys who are key players for big league teams. They still have the restrictions as they get ready for the regular season. So the one sure thing at the back end of that pen might not be available. Lashed into left center field by DeZenzo, his 2nd hit of the ball game, and it leads off the 6th.
I'm telling you what, this guy, I just love his approach. I mean, the ball jumps off his bat, and that's just smoked up the middle. Short, quick to the ball. He knows he's the guy. There's nobody else. Well, there is, but there isn't. Right.
So he's on to start this inning in front of Caglione. That's a strike, and we check in with Ken Rosenthal.
Well, Joe, you can understand what Francisco Cervelli is doing tonight with Michael Lorenzen, going for broke. It's the old baseball adage, win today, worry about tomorrow. But if you're Team USA, you have to be liking what you're seeing here, particularly if this score holds up. Team Italy likely would be looking at a bullpen game tomorrow. The bullpen game for the championship of the WBC. Their other starter, Sam Aldeghiri, pitched Saturday. He's not coming back on 2 days rest. And Nola and Michael Lorenzen, they're not pulling a Yoshinobu Yamamoto in the middle of March and coming back on no rest.
I think the big thing that Team USA, they aren't taking anything for granted, and they're not going to assume anything after being in Houston and the events that led to this point. Now they're back in the championship.
Zerpa and Bizzardo both warming for Venezuela. Ball and 2 strikes on Caglione. Kenny, if Venezuela were to come back in this game, what do they have lined up?
Eduardo Rodriguez. And that would pose an interesting lineup question for Mark DeRosa. Obviously, at that point, it would be pretty clear that he would play Alex Bregman at third base, right-hander versus a left-hander. But it would mean sitting Gunnar Henderson, at least for the start of the game. And the other question, he would face Cal Raleigh or Will Smith. Cal Raleigh is 0 for 9 in the tournament, 5 strikeouts, 4 walks. Will Smith, a right-handed hitter against the left-handed Rodriguez, 3 for 10.
And as he said, Mark DeRosa throughout this last week or so, back and forth between the catchers, and then he was going to decide in the championship if they were to get there based on who's played better. And it's been pretty clear which of those two guys has. Enzo is running with that pitch. He'll jog his way back for another 2-2. Caglione taps it along first. Avila over to first in time. Into scoring position goes to Zenzo.
You know, for a pitcher, we see that play probably 100 times during the year. It's not that easy of a play to grab it and have the touch when you're releasing a ball from the mound with all your effort.
Yeah, if it's 100 times a year, we see it thrown away like 17 of those 100. Avila saving the day for Venezuela. 2 1/3 scoreless innings for the youngster. Angel Zerpa comes into the game for Venezuela. Last season with the Kansas City Royals. Got traded to the Brewers this offseason. Bullpen keeping Venezuela in this ball game. First one from Zerpa is a strike on Fisher.
This guy's nasty. The delivery and the pitching that he throws against left-handed hitters, that's got to be tough to pick up.
It's a ton of ground balls, Zerpa does. Ball and a strike on Fisher. Who's reached both times in this ball game, continuing to make a great impression in this World Baseball Classic. Fisher waves and misses. Left-handers hit just .220 against Zerpa last year. You can see why. The 1-2 pitch. Look out. Fisher hitting the deck, getting out of the way. Fresh shave.
Well, you're leaning in thinking you might get another breaking ball and you get one up there. That is athleticism to get out of the way, because your head and your body are trying to stay in there against a breaking ball, and he's like, whew.
Now on a 2-2, swings and misses. Fastball is right down the chute, but you could understand the guy going up there not being quite himself after the pitch that he had taken before. 2 gone in the 6th inning.
Healthy swing, but
John, J.J. Durazio, who was probably not even going to play in this World Baseball Classic until a week ago, is getting intentionally walked right here.
I'd walk him.
First base is open. The 9-hitter Dante Nori's on deck. That's 5 walks in this game for Team Italy. Dante Nori, right now, his ground out drove in the run that's the difference. Productive out in the 2nd inning. Team Italy, big part of the story has been the little things. Played tidy defense, tough at bats. They've moved runners up. That's the difference in this game. It's helped them overcome going 0 for 9 with runners on base. But again, several of those overs have at least advanced guys, and in the case of Nori, brought in the run. Strike 2 from Zerpa. Bouncer over the mound, and with Nori's speed, there's no play. Infield hit for Dante Nori. And the Italian paper cuts continue.
That's a good way to put it. This is in no man's land right here.
So Antonacci at the top of the order gets a chance here. Antonacci's 0 for 3 in this game. Only guy for the Italians that hasn't reached base. He's ahead 1-0. With the bases loaded, something you've got to be careful with Antonacci is him leaning out over the plate. He's been hit by 3 pitches in this WBC. He was hit 39 times last year. Takes a strike here. Single, walk, and another single. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
One of the Team Italy players turned his back and was getting prepared to just wear it and hit the screen instead of him. That ball was laced into their dugout, or towards their dugout.
Serpa strikes him out. It remains 2-1. Well, Venezuela rallied from down 5-2 to beat Japan in the quarterfinals, trying to come from down 2-0 in the semis. It's 2-1 in the top of the 7th. Gleyber Torres takes ball 1 from Michael Lorenzen. Lorenzen has come on in relief of Aaron Nola and has not given up a run. 6 2/3 in this tournament. Torres, who's 2 for 2, is ahead 2-0. If Italy advances to the championship, yeah, they've had great at-bats. Yeah, they've played good defense. Aaron Nola, Michael Lorenzen, though, the 2 top starting pitchers, 1 run in 15 2/3 would be the biggest reason why.
Yeah. Everybody's got pretty much the same limitations. The rules apply to every country, but getting 2 pitchers to be that good will carry you.
Ball 3 on Torres. Saw Salvador Perez over there in the Venezuela dugout. They've gone back and forth each game at catcher. Tonight's William Contreras' opportunity. Do not be surprised if you see Perez in a key spot off of the bench. Tying run at the plate to start the 7th. Strike 2 on Torres. Veteran of 53 Major League postseason games. 7 years with the Yankees. Last year the Tigers. On 3-2, Torres takes ball 4. A leadoff walk. MLB Plus is new this year. You can stream MLB Network 24/7 in the U.S. and select out-of-market games every week. Get live radio broadcasts of every game, Game Day 3D, Big Inning, and minor league action. Go to MLB.com/MLB Plus to subscribe today. Torres is on and Abreu's up.
Only the 2nd time they've gotten their leadoff hitter on, and both times, I believe, via walks. And they have to. The last time, bunting them over. They've had some runners in scoring position, but have not delivered that big hit. They're running out of opportunities.
Andres Gimenez pinch running for Torres. Abreu, strike 1 after his big home run against Japan is 0 for 2. Game winner against Japan was in the 6th inning. An inning later, top of the 7th, down 2-1. Winner moves on to the championship for the first time. No balls and 2 strikes. Ryu flustered with that strike call. Pitcher's pitch from Lorenzen. Oh, 2. Abreu fights it off. Here's the home run, and as loud of a moment as you'll ever find.
Yeah, this ball crushed.
22 of those last year for the Red Sox. Down on strikes this time. Lorenzen gets him with a changeup.
Pretty impressive how many different pitches he's able to utilize to neutralize a lot of these hitters. I mean, that's what he's become. He used to be a flamethrower, used to just rear back and let it go, and now he's got all kinds of pitches.
First one to William Contreras, a huge cut and a miss, and a curve that popped out of his hand a bit right there. Michael Lorenzen is 34 years old, going into his 12th year in the major leagues. More than half of that with the Reds, and then he's become a journeyman. And he's going into his 6th team the last 5 years, the Rockies this year. Ball and a strike on Contreras. Started his career as a two-way guy. He was more of an outfielder than he was a pitcher coming out of Cal State Fullerton. His 1-1 offering, fouled back, strike 2 on Contreras. Rockies are actually talking about utilizing him that way, getting enough outings as an outfielder where he gets two-way designation, and the Rockies can carry an extra pitcher. So you have the 13-man limit on the pitching staff, but if he's a two-way guy, you can have a 14th. Andres Gimenez pinch running. Contreras is down on a change. 2 gone in the 7th.
Whew, man. And again, no emotion. Just messing up with the timing of the hitters and messing with this crowd. This crowd has been waiting to explode, trying to generate as much as they can to get their team going.
Turn it into an instant replay of last night's game. 2-1 win for the U.S. over the Dominican Republic on just one solo home run for the Dominicans. Here's just the solo home run from Suarez. Powerful offense being silenced in the semi. Chourio 0 for 1 with a sacrifice bunt. Gimenez runs. Chourio grounds one through. Base hit center field. Gimenez will be at third. Tying run enticingly close for Venezuela.
Runner going, hit it up the middle. Create some action.
So now, John, can Ronald Acuna make those butterflies fly in form right here? You know he's high energy. You know he wants to hit it a mile when a base hit would get the job done.
Yeah, I tell you what, he is kind of the straw that stirs this team, right? I mean, he goes, they go, and he delivered that first blow against Team Japan, but he's just missed a couple balls.
0 for 3 in tonight's game. 0 for 8 since that home run against Yamamoto. This is the guy they want up. Acuna grounds one left side. Antonacci with the backhand throws it across late. Tied at 2.
Have to see this again, but I thought his best chance was to second base. With the speed of Acuna, it was going to take a cannon. You see the runner going to second, didn't get the greatest jump. It would have been close either way. And right now, he knows he's got to run.
Ball on Michael Garcia. Pure elation inside Lone Depot Park. With a sprinkle of relief. Two and 0. They've tied it. Garcia trying to give him the lead. On 2-0, Michael Garcia lines the ball to left field, a base hit. Jackson Chourio comes home. Throw to third, timing play, everybody's safe. Venezuela's taken the lead. They've come back again.
Started with a walk, 2 strikeouts later, and then 3 consecutive singles.
One and 0 on a rise. Good luck with that. Two and 0. Ball through.
All those opportunities they didn't cash in. Boy, oh boy, what 2 outs they've cashed in.
Acuna just got his first hit of the night. Rise looking for his. On a 3-1 pitch, fouls it off, and the count goes full.
I wonder if he goes to a changeup here. He's gotten 2 of the strikeouts in this inning on changeups against a guy that rarely swings and misses.
Acuna almost halfway down the line. There goes Garcia from first. It's sliced to left center field. Jacob Mercy won't get there. The hit parade continues, and so does the fiesta for Venezuela in Miami. Deafening. Michael Lorenzen leaves the game. It's come crashing down for Italy. Venezuela had 4 hits the first 6 2/3 innings of this game. They've gotten 4 in a row to take a 4-2 lead and chase Michael Lorenzen from the mound. So Kyle Nicholas comes on. Suarez, prior to this rally, was the offense with a home run in the 4th. He's got Garcia at 3rd and Arise at 1st. Lifts the first pitch to right center field from Marcy and Caglione. It'll be Jacob Marcy to send us to the stretch. My, oh my, have things changed. Ronald Acuna with an infield hit to tie it. 2 more unscored. Venezuela finds itself in front. Welcome back to Miami in the 2026 World Baseball Classic on FS1, presented by Capital One. 4 in a row for Team Venezuela. They lead 4-2. The winner advanced into the championship game for the first time. Venezuela got a run in the 4th inning and a home run from Eugenio Suarez, and then 3 in the 7th. And now a bullpen that has gone 4 2/3 without giving up a run and has a 1.53 for the tournament, is 9 outs away from advancing. This is Edward Bizardo, who we got to see quite a bit in the playoffs last year with the Mariners.
Really good arm, and of course was huge for the Mariners in the oh-so-close series against Toronto.
Andres Jimenez, after pinch running, stays in the game, plays second. 2, 3, and 4 for the Italians. Birdie, Marcy, Pasquantino coming up. Bizardo, who bounced around for a few years, went from the Red Sox to the Orioles to the Mariners. He was back and forth between the big leagues and the minors, and then at the age of 30 last year went 5-0. Absolutely dominated the last couple months, and finally has established himself in the major leagues. One of the top arms out of the pen for Venezuela. Downstairs at the first pitch to Birdie. Italy scored twice in the 2nd. Nothing against the pen in the 4 innings since. Birdie takes a strike.
Sinker curveball. 2 big pitches.
Broke his bat, rolled it over the mound to second. Jimenez right away gets chested. And throws out Birdie, 1 gone in the 7th. There's Jacob Marcy. Came up here with the Marlins last year, set the world on fire. Rookie of the month in the National League his first month up. Hit .350, drove in 25 runs in his first month in the majors. Talked quite a bit about Luis Arise tonight. Well, he was traded here to Miami for Arise in that 2024 deal, coming from San Diego with a couple other minor leaguers. Offered, strike 2. Marcy wearing number 5 as a nod to the Italian-American legend Joe DiMaggio. Swing and a miss. 2 gone in the 7th.
There's a lot of energy in this stadium. I'm wondering if they got enough for 2 straight days if this holds up.
Pace yourselves. Be 3 times in 4 days. It was rocking like this on Saturday night too against Japan. But that's the great thing about the World Baseball Classic. There is no pacing yourself. Let it all out. Pasquantino 0 for 2. That's with the bases empty. Looks at a strike from Bizzardo. Little pop. Tovar to the 8th. Welcome back. Here's our rewarding performance sponsored by Capital One. A 4 consecutive hit rally for Team Venezuela with 2 outs to turn it around and take their first lead of the ball game. Run on 4 hits over the first 6+ innings, and then they explode right there. And it was like a tidal wave of noise that came over this place. Zico Tovar leads off, takes ball 1 from Kyle Nicholas. Top of the 8th inning, 4-2. Venezuela's never been to the championship game. Rich as their baseball history is, only the United States and the Dominican Republic have more players in the major leagues than the country of Venezuela does. Go by opening day rosters from last year. There were 63 Venezuelans on major league rosters. As much talent as there is, this event hasn't really treated them too kindly. Hadn't been to the semifinals since 2009 prior to this trip. Surprisingly, it never cracked through to the championship game. Ball 3 on Tovar.
Well, they've got a really good team and a really good chance now that they scored those 3 runs. Still going to be pretty intense as this finishes. And Omar talked about the importance not only his dad has had, but honestly, what Salvador Perez means to him, and the glowing respect of Salvador on and off the field, and just said he would do anything for him.
There's Andres Jimenez the hit. Yeah, he got emotional when you asked him about him today. Talking about the person that Salvador Perez is. He said there's the obvious stuff that he's done as a player, but the things that he does that nobody sees back in Venezuela. And Omar made the point, it's not just for his family, it's not just for people that he knows, it's all kinds of people that he's never met. And Salvador Perez once told Omar Lopez, I'm not taking any money with me. I'm not taking, my day comes, I hope I don't have any money. Other people got better use for it than I do. So he's always given. There are a lot of people that can use that help back in these guys' home country of Venezuela. Been a rallying force, this team. Country watching their run.
Well, I know he's not just catching now, playing a lot of first base, but boy, what a bulldog he's been behind the plate. I mean, he set the standard along with Yadier Molina. Just so many games he would post up behind the plate.
Going into his 15th year is Salvador Perez. Jimenez down on strikes, 2 gone in the 8th. Hit 30 home runs, drove in 100 last year. 9 All-Star selections, 5 Gold Gloves, and a home run title. That was in 2021. There's only one other catcher that can claim a trophy room like that, Johnny Bench. Wow. Here's Abreu. Be interesting to see if Perez is in the lineup tomorrow. Omar Lopez said all bets were off for the championship. It's been back and forth between Perez and William Contreras. Said, look, at spring training, these catchers are still getting ready too. They don't typically catch back-to-back days during spring training, so he wasn't going to put that on these guys here. All bets off for the championship, though. Contreras has had 2 walks today. The other spot where you could play Perez would be DH, but Suarez is homered, probably not taking his bat out. That's a 1-2-3 inning for Kyle Nicholas. See if Italy's got some more magic to the bottom of the 8th. Play Ball is baseball's global youth initiative to highlight the fun and accessible ways to play our great game. To learn more, including how to find a league near you, you can scan the QR code on the screen or go to playball.org and follow @playball on social media. Bottom of the 8th inning, Team Italy running out of chances, trailing for one of the first times in this tournament. Andres Machado, who spent time in the major leagues with the Nationals, last few years one of the top closers in Japan, on to work the 8th inning. DeZenzo, Caglione, and Fisher coming up for Italy. That's 5, 6, and 7. After Italy got 2 runs against the starter Cater Montero, the bullpen has combined for 5 2/3 scoreless innings. First pitch, roller to third, routine Garcia. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Team Italy's going to have to get somebody on base to create some stress again right now. Down 2.
Caglione. Strike 1. Right now they got to be looking at that 6th inning when they had the bases loaded. And Angel Serpa is able to get out of it. 0-2. Former Florida Gator down here in Miami. Caglione on an 0-2 pitch. Waves and misses. 2 out.
Well, this bullpen, you talked about it. That's a great changeup, too. This bullpen has been really, really good in a game to keep them in striking distance, and then offense takes the lead.
Walking a single for Fisher. Italy trying to get some kind of traffic to your point to ensure that some of the big hitters at the top of the lineup get a chance. Fisher, the 7 hitter. Only 4 outs with which to work. Man, oh man. Seven pitches from Machado, 7 strikes. Ball 1. It's a 1-2-3-8 inning for Machado. Hey, look who's watching. Jose Altuve. Venezuela 3 outs away from its first trip to the final. Back here in Miami, Venezuela is 3 outs away from advancing to the championship. They've come back in this game in the same way they did against Japan in the quarterfinals, from down 2-0 to lead 4-2. Team USA waits after holding off the Dominican Republic 2-1 last night. Nolan McLean, the rookie, will be on the hill for USA. If Venezuela hangs on, it'd be Eduardo Rodriguez taking the ball. Ron Marinaccio comes on to pitch for Italy. 8-9-1 for Venezuela coming up. It'll be the same thing for Italy in the bottom of the 9th inning. Contreras 2 walks in this game. 2-time All-Star, played all last year with a broken middle finger. Down 0-2. Plays through it though. Didn't really take any breaks.
Fastball cutter combination is pretty darn good for this young man.
Got him on 3 pitches. Sprinkled in the changeup there. So 1 out in the 9th. Then up comes Jackson Chourio, who it looked like just a nice little 2-out single. It was the first of 4 in a row to change this game for Venezuela.
Well, there was a coin toss. And that coin toss was if Venezuela wins this game on who was going to be home field for tomorrow. And USA won that coin toss.
So the Americans will be the home team, although that'll be the only way that it'll feel like they're the home team.
That's correct. The crowd anticipating 3 more outs, anticipating tomorrow. Italy trying to change that.
Be a road game on home turf. Chourio, chopper, and Tadachi. 2 gone. Team USA offense still yet to really click on all cylinders. They've been saving it up for the championship game. It was enough last night with a splendid pitching, holding the Dominicans to just 1 run. Paul Skeens delivering as advertised in his 2 World Baseball Classic starts. Acuna, who tied it with an infield hit. I don't know if it was possible for you to hold Paul Skeens in any higher regard than you did coming in, but I think he somehow
went through
another notch.
Yeah, he sure did. Everything he's done, said, been part of, bought in, and delivered.
Acuna sends one in the air to left center field. Nori's on the run, gets there. So to the bottom of the 9th, and all of Venezuela will fasten the seatbelts, leading 4-2. 3 outs away from a place they've never been. A 3-run 7th inning has turned around this semifinal. Venezuela with a 4-2 lead to the bottom of the 9th inning. And Daniel Palencia is on to try and close it out. A guy that wasn't even on the Cubs opening day roster last year. By the end of it, he was their closer. 22 saves, and he'll be in that role to start this year. First things first, though, trying to lock down a trip to the championship.
Yeah, 99 mile-an-hour fastball. But he's got the slider and the split, the curveball. He's got it all.
He's always wanted to do this. He's always wanted to play baseball, but he was having a hard time breaking 90 as a teenager. He had one scout tell him, "You're never going to make it." He was doing more working at a food truck in Venezuela than he was pitching. Then he got his chance, started to gain velocity. Wait till you see what that velocity is these days for the kid working in the food truck who had no chance, according to the scout. Good chance you're going to see triple digits out of Daniel Palencia. Brian Rocchio to pinch hit to open this 9th. He swings and misses at 100 from Palencia. Rocchio just added to the roster. Venezuela's with a 4-2 lead. Italy's 2 runs came in the 2nd. All zeros from the Venezuelan pen. Quickly 0-2. Eight, 9-1 here for Italy. Dante Minori follows, and then the top of the order, and Sam Antonacci. Pasquantino will be the 6th hitter in this inning. Another 0-2. Pop up. Left field. Abreu. 1 out.
These situations, when you're out in the 9th, make them hit their way on. Go right after them. Solo home run does nothing, but a walk or a base hit brings that tying run. Even though a solo home run brings a tying run, it's earned.
Nori flails and misses. Palencia, the 6th reliever of the game, trying to do what the first 5 did and put up a goose egg. Is the one that Dante Nori is fouled off, and it's strike 2 just like that. Pre-game at 7 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night on Fox. Championship game at 8. Team USA look for its first championship since 2017 against a first-timer. 1 ball and 2 strikes. What a run this has been for Italy. Team nobody saw coming. Last remaining unbeaten. Down to their last 2 outs. Down to their last out as Palencia strikes out Nori.
He's going after him. Top of the zone. Go ahead and hit it.
I feel like we're going to get a court storming here. Go down there and rip down the goalpost. Field storm. What a scene. It's up to Antonacci. Strike 1. This team has united the Venezuelans living here in Miami. In a lot of ways, it's united that country. While carrying the weight of the responsibility of knowing that that's what they have a chance to do. Palencia to Antonacci with a 1-1 pitch. Instead, time call. Dancing in the streets of Maracay Saturday night after the win against Japan. Party's only going to grow if they can get 1 more out. Here's the 1-1. Bounced in there. Ball 2. Dominic Canzone is in the on-deck circle. He would pinch hit for John Birdie. More home run power than Birdie has. Antonacci can find a way to keep Italy's hopes alive.
Any way, anyhow, get on base.
Here's the 2-1. Ball 3. It would be fitting if there was a walk here, if there was a tough at-bat to extend Italy's run. Antonacci on 3-1. Fouls it into the glove, and they're down to their last strike. Venezuela to the championship game for the first time. Omar Lopez. Victor Martinez over there with Francisco Cervelli, the Venezuelan-born Francisco Cervelli. And Omar Lopez, who has devoted his life to Venezuelan baseball, and said, look, all I can do is try to make my country happy, try to make those people back home smile, give them a team that they're proud of. Mission accomplished. Team Venezuela will play the United States for the gold medal tomorrow night.
I mean, they're like 8-year-olds. I mean, they're so happy. I mean, Salvador Perez is jumping around like he's 10. And that's how much it means to that team, the coaching staff. And that's the difference. You get here and you get to that point almost.
Uncharted territory for Venezuela, on to the championship for the first time. We go down to the field, into that party. Ken Rosenthal.
Thanks, Joe. Ronald, you're the first Venezuelan team to make it to the WBC final. What was it like tonight, playing before this crowd, knowing your entire country was behind you?
Hey, man, I'm so excited. A lot of emotion. My family's there. Every fan from Venezuela is there, you know. Like I said before, I just want to make my people proud, and that's what I did today.
When you guys were down 2-1 in the 7th inning, 2 outs, how worried were you that this might not happen?
When I go here in the IB, I don't think about nothing. I just wanna put the ball in play, and that's what I do. I get on base and Michael do his job.
When you hit that ball, did you think it was a hit?
Yeah, absolutely. When I touch, he can throw me out in the vertical. I can run too.
Ronald, tomorrow night, you play Team USA for the championship. If Venezuela wins, what kind of party will there be back home?
Amen. That's why my country need that win tomorrow. But USA got a really good team. We have a really good team too. But let's see what happens tomorrow.
Ronald, thank you. Congratulations. Back to you, Joe.
Must-see TV, ladies and gentlemen. This party taking on Team USA. Venezuela against USA for the championship tomorrow night. We'll take a break and be back to Miami after this.